based on what you know today, do you think a father can be a trust confidant for us as an adult? I mean, I just want you to reflect
Mm.
on what Titus said earlier on,
I think
even based on your experience. Imagine, excuse me, Sasha, imagine you having a dad that could have been there for you. I really need you to separate yourself away from it and look at it globally.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can answer that. I think that I'm not gonna. I mean, be narrow-minded in this case. I think yes, but as a woman, I think to just certain extent, right? Because there is still like that gender separation that there are certain things that the father just can't, or it might weird you out, or you know what I mean. Um,
Mhm.
but yes, and I alone, I wish that I had that, you know, like those little secrets, father daughter in my case, you know, that special bond, deeper connection. It might be like I know cases when like even a girl, like a woman, okay now, um,
Mhm.
confined in her father more than a mother, you know, because they had that father daughter bond. Because it is something,
Yeah.
you know, when people say that, it's not for nothing. There is something about it. I see my husband and our daughter now. You know,
Yeah.
there is some bonds that you just can't break. It's different. So yeah, I do believe that that's possible. Again, as a woman, I can say that if I put myself in that situation, I think that it would go to certain extent. Then the other things are for mom. You know,
Yeah.
a woman to woman kind of a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
as a man,
That
if I may add here, I'm sorry to interrupt. I see my husband with his dad,
good.
and that's like everyday calls. And sometimes I'm just sitting there in awe how good the connection between them is, you know, because he literally tells his father everything, like, and by everything I mean everything. So yes, yes, and I think that
That's
it's
unbelievable.
very important too.
I mean, I wish if I had known that you have experience of this nature, I would probably not ask you the question even because it's like a giving, like you have something already. But it's a beautiful thing to know. I really thought about this question because I, for one, I no longer have a dad in my life, and there are some cases in which I wish I had him. I
Hmm.
could have been able to share some, even there are some decisions that you need to make. It will have been very interesting sharing it with somebody that have had experience in that area.
Hmm.
Of course, anybody can do it for you.
Yeah.
But for the fact today that we are talking about fathers, and some actually do have a father in their life,
Hmm.
and they are not taking advantage of that wealth of knowledge, wisdom that their dad could provide. I mean, looking back again to what Titus was saying, I think it's a whole lot that is missing for them.
Hmm.
I and to this I will add as well. You know, there is this general saying, it's very popular these days, that dad actually help their daughters to vet men when they are of dating age. Do you think that's true?
So yeah, I think that it could be. I think that it could be, but again, you know, to I think that it also depends on the certain situation, the individual stories, you know. There is so many elements into this. It's not just like a father and a daughter or a father and a son, you know.
Hmm.
It's not just about the roles that we were born into or given. Um, it goes beyond that, and I say it's like, you know, again, a father is not just financial provider. It goes deeper. It's about how he loves the
Hmm.
mother. It's about how he even walks, talks, how he will prepare the meal, how he will look at the
Yeah.
daughter, I don't know, in a new dress, how he will teach, I don't know, a son to ride a bicycle, you know? A
Yeah,
father is, I don't know, it's more. And I think that it goes from there. That
that's interesting. I mean, I know, like you are saying, because I really want our listener to get this as well. Of course, there are no kids, but I just want to make it clear. I don't want to leave things as unclear for anyone. It is true that one may not have a dad growing up,
yeah.
but I do believe that a lot of problem, domestic violence and everything, would, would a lot of them would have been reduced if we have great parents, and in this particular case, father in our life. It will have been really, really great. Unfortunately, we don't live in a world that is perfect. Some of us have them, some of us do not have them.
Do you,
And even if you don't have it,
sorry, do
okay.
you think that you would reduce it? Because sorry to say, from I don't know, at least here in UK where I am currently, there is a lot of domestic violence happening from adults, like grown ass men, who are fathers, and then they end up in jail, right? And you have kids here who are uncontrollable, at least for single mothers, all confused, left alone, one of a sudden. You understand? Uh,
Mhm.
Fighting mental issues of their own because of them being abused or whatever. Now the child is misbehaving, and the circle goes on. The child thinks that it's okay. So, do you think that just having a father, because in my case, let me use my case, he was an alcoholic. And I do have in my memory of one time when he actually held a knife and went towards my mom and stabbed the knife in a wooden frame of our window. As a child, why do I need to have this memory? So no, I don't want you to be together because you might hurt my mom, you might hurt me, you might hurt yourself. You are better off separated, go apart. But what I want in this case is, if you two are not good for each other, can you try to be good for your child? Because it's not your child's fault he or she was born into this world, you know? And
Yeah,
if you don't, I'll say hate, okay? It although is a strong word, but if you hate mom, do you need to hate the children too?
it shouldn't have been like that.
You shouldn't,
And
but it's a very common thing right now. What I'm hearing
yeah,
and what
that
I'm seeing is it's sad. It makes me sad.
that is why this conversation is important, because some of us have this burden, some of us have this experience in our life. We've been able to survive it. I believe if we unite our voices together and even promote discussion of this type in platform like this, it can go a long way.
Yeah,
At least an information can cause a change in someone's life. Nobody
definitely.
genuinely like a family that is disorganized. If even with your experience, using it as an example, it's okay, but it's still an exception. Generally, we will love to see families together, a place whereby the parents are able to work together to create an enabling environment for their children. So ideally, a father should be able to carry out his responsibilities in a family. This does not mean that a mother cannot play the same role, because at times we want to be too politically correct. I understand that we are advanced and everything, but there are certain things that I would even say biologically, but it comes naturally. It should have been. It is expected of fathers. I don't know if it's still politically correct to say it in Europe, but it is expected of fathers to at least be there as a source of defense if for their family, even in terms of physical harm, in terms of an attack. Literally, a dad is expected to be able to protect his family. I'm not saying that. Defense could be defined in any way, but at least it is expected of them. I think the best example to use, the best way to describe what I'm trying to say is it's like a man not being able to open door for their wife. I mean, this little act of courtesy. that makes you look civil simply because you live in a society that now believe that we are all equal, we have rights and everything. You neglect certain things that you are supposed to do as a man. What I'm trying to say, Tasha, is that despite the fact that we live in a Western world, I genuinely believe, this is my opinion, anyone can challenge me, but I genuinely believe that as men, we are again to be educated, to know some basic, I wouldn't say cultural, I would say cultural values that we should uphold as a man in our society. Either you live in London or you live in Milan, wherever you live, it doesn't make any difference. You should treat your family with respect, protect the life of your children and your wife, and the wife should do the same when the duty calls for it. So a man should not neglect his or her responsibilities. A man should protect his family. This, I genuinely believe, it might be because I'm an African, whatever the case may be, I don't know. But I genuinely believe this. And I don't want to see a situation like the experience you just described in the UK, where men themselves are being the source of violence in the life of their children. That's so fucked up, believe me.
Yes.
That shouldn't be the case.
Uh, yeah. No, I do. Like here, I do agree, and it might be something a little bit to do with our different cultures. Yes, most probably, but I don't know. It's a very hard topic, especially for me, the way I grew up and the way I see it, and then comparing my story to, I don't know, your stories, and my husband's story, or a story of a friend from, I don't know, a neighbor country next to me. We are all different, and although I don't know.